Hi, my name's Beth. I work at The Gathering Place, a caring community for those touched by cancer. And this is Carol.
Hi, I'm a participant at the Gathering Place, and I attend the healthy classes that Beth puts on.
So today we want to share with you one of our favorite recipes. It's called the kale and Brussels sprout salad. We've all heard of superfoods, but this recipe is actually a superfood group. We're featuring two really important cruciferous vegetables, kale and Brussels sprouts. Kale comes in many different varieties. What we're looking for here is the lucinata or the Tuscan type kale. What's nice about this, if you're new to kale, it's a little more tender than the curly kale. We're also featuring Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts are in season this time of year, and we're looking for Brussels sprouts that are small and tender. Both kale and Brussels sprouts are a powerhouse. What's in it? Why is it so good for us? Well, think of your ABCs, and that's what's in the cruciferous vegetables. Vitamin A in the form of carotenoids, lots of good B vitamins, vitamin C, in addition, folate, fiber, and actually a little bit of protein and omega-3. So we're going to put this together into a nice salad. Sometimes people feel like these vegetables can be a little bit bitter. So we are pairing it with a really nice dressing to complement the vegetables. And Carol's going to help put this together today.
Right.
So we're going to start first with some nice kale. When you buy kale at the store, you want to look for nice green tender leaves, a firm stalk. And what Carol's going to do is she's going to strip that stalk right off of the kale. And the reason we're doing that is most of the nutrition pushes out into the leaf. We can throw that stalk out or put it in soup to be used later. She's going to roll that kale up nice and tight. She's got a couple of leaves there, and she's going to roll it into a nice little log, and she's going to slice it in very thin ribbons. And you can see as she cuts that kale, what we're left with are the nice little ribbons. Now, we've cut up some ahead of time because whenever you're using raw vegetables, you want to let them sit for at least 5 minutes before you consume to get the maximum benefit when you're eating a raw vegetable. So this recipe calls for 5 or 6 leaves of kale, good hearty kale. We're also going to add some Brussels sprouts. So Brussels sprouts, when you're looking to buy Brussels sprouts, as we said, you want small, all about the same size. We're looking for a deep, dark green, no yellow or pitted areas. So what Carol's going to do with the Brussels sprout is she's going to chop off the end. And because we're eating this raw, she's now just going to slice it into a cabbage. However, if we were steaming this, we'd want to make a little X at the bottom to allow that shorter steaming time. Oftentimes people complain Brussels sprouts are very bitter, and that's because we overcook them. Just like the kale, she's going to slice it into small little ribbons, and we're going to add that Brussels sprout to our kale. That looks great.
Okay.
So it's about equal parts kale and Brussels sprouts. So we're going to mix that together. The next part of this recipe is just putting that dressing in. We made the dressing up ahead of time, but this is a nice mixture of some olive oil. We use the extra virgin olive oil. We use a little Dijon mustard. We used shallots and garlic. Great cancer-fighting benefits in both shallots and garlic. And a little bit of lemon juice. Notice the lemon, the way I've cut it to maximize the amount of juice I can get out of the lemon. Slice it on either side of the pit, and then you take that lemon each half and you squeeze it in, and you'll get lots more juice as opposed to just cutting it in half. If I needed more lemon juice, this is also just filled with lots more juice, but we don't need it for this recipe. So we're going to blend that together, and with a little salt and pepper, sea salt and pepper, and we're going to stir a little bit and just add about half that. So she's going to put that in and really stir that into the about half. So you can judge as you mix, and then we're just going to stir that together. And we want to make sure we coat those leaves nicely. And the last part of this recipe calls for some toasted almonds, and some pecorino cheese. Now, some folks may not be using dairy anymore, and that's fine. There's a nice alternative. You don't want the pecorino cheese provides a nice saltiness to the recipe. You can substitute nutritional yeast instead, and nutritional yeast is for those folks that don't do dairy, are vegetarians or vegan. It's a nice way to get your B vitamins. There's protein in this. I look for a nutritional yeast that also has the B12, which is a vitamin that's hard for a lot of vegetarians and vegans to get enough of. So for this recipe today, we're going to use the cheese, and it calls for a couple tablespoons. Again, this is to taste. We're going to blend that together, and we're going to top it with some toasted almonds. Now, the nice thing about the almonds is you can toast those ahead. If you get the raw almonds, put them on a cookie sheet. You don't want to toast them at a high temperature. Keep it under 350 at the highest. They'll toast up nicely, but because of the healthy fats in almond, you want to make sure you don't lose that by toasting it too high. Okay, so stir together.
Yep,
All set.
all set.
And this can be served on a nice tray. This could be a nice lunch. If you want to add a little additional protein, it can make a full meal at dinner time as well. Thanks, Carol, for helping, and
Oh,
thanks
you're
for sharing
welcome.
this recipe.
You're welcome.